Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a fun puzzle, and I'll read you the intro on this thing in just a second, but Michael Lefkowitz, i.e. Juggler, has made a couple of bad Sudoku puzzles. So this is one of them, and I'll be reading from over here, so I'll be pushing this way for just a second, but I'll get back to it. So the intro to these, and there's a couple of them. So there's a Bad Classic, Bad German Whisper, and Bad Kropki. I'm going to try the Bad Kropki today. But it says, Sudoku rules and common variants are often elegant, powerful, and intuitive. That got me thinking, what if instead they kind of just totally sucked? Well, you'll be delighted to hear that I have accomplished exactly that. Starting with classic German Whisper and Kropki variants, I'm pleased to report that I've discovered small changes to each rule set that makes it frustrating, hard to scan, and just generally unpleasant to work with in every way. Enjoy. So that's what we've got. Now, this is the third of the ones that he had listed in this particular thing. The classic one was a 6x6, I think, and I don't tend to do 6x6, not because they're bad or anything, but I kind of prefer just to stick with 9x9s for the most part, unless something very curious comes up on a 6x6. But the German Whisper and the Kropki were the two that are looking intriguing to me. I decided to go with the Kropki for this one, and depending on how much you all love to be frustrated, we might do the other ones. And I'm sure there'll be more variants that are coming out at some point here. But anyway, this is Bad Kropki by Michael Lefkowitz, and we've got normal Sudoku, so every row column and 3x3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. And we've got Bad Kropki. So digits separated by a dot are either consecutive or in a 1:2 ratio. I made some of the dots black so it looks pretty. So what this means is we don't really know which one of these is what. Excuse me. So either any of these dots, they're essentially just Kropki dots. Again, the black and the white on here are not necessarily telling you anything. They're just telling you that there is a Kropki between them. So if these act as a white Kropki, it will be consecutive digits. If these two act as a black Kropki, they will be in a 2-to-1 ratio, or one will be double the other. But like we could have this here act as a white Kropki, these act as a black Kropki, these act as black, and these act as a white, or something like that. There is nothing that says that all of these must act the same or anything like that. So what we're going to have to do is pick through these things and try to figure out how the heck to make them work. So with that said, link to this one's going to be in the description below. And again, we'll probably try the German Whisper one as well and try and get that one and see how that works out and see what the bad rule set is. But let's get into this one first. So link below, let's get into it. Now, where the heck are we going to start? Because you can't think in a normal way. We're going to have to think in a more expanded way of, is it possible to make any of these things be pushed into certain ways of rule sets? Now, we know this entire thing can't be all black Kropkis, because you'd have to do 1, 2, 4, 8, or you'd have, because they're all in the same region, and then of course the 1 and the 8 won't work together. The question though is, would you be able to determine which one is which? Because this could be, well, you could never put a 1 here in any case, because you'd always put 2 here, but what if this was a 2, and this acted as a white Kropki and it was a 1? This acted as a black Kropki and it was a 4. Well, I guess that wouldn't work, because then you couldn't get between the 1 and the 4. So maybe this is a good place to start thinking, because there's going to be certain groupings that just can't ever work. Like we can't ever put a 1 in any of these. First off, let's start there. In these, that is. We don't know about there. If we put a 2, it would have to go with a 3 and a 4, because we can't put a 1. Sorry, just trying to get a little caffeine in me. My brain has not been working very well this morning, or today. It's a little later in the day now, but trying to get the brain going again. So we could put a 2 technically, but that would require these to be 3s and 4s in some fashion. Now, is there any way to make this work? Because if we have a 3, we could go to a 6, but that's it. And one of these would have to be a 3. So we can't go 2 or 4 because we have to use the 2 or the 4. So this would have to be 6, but then how does the 4 connect to it? It can't. Now, that pushes a 2 off of this. What about thinking about a 3? Well, it would have to go with a 4 and a 6. Now that could work, because we could put a 5 here. And one of these would be white Kropki, one of these would be black Kropki, and then these would all be white to get to 5. That is possible. So 3 can go on this. We might find, excuse me, I gotta scratch my back. We might find that there are other digits that can't go on here. Like, we can't ever put a 9 on here, so get that off. Because if you put a 9 here, you have to put 2 8s. You can't use 9 on a black Kropki. If we had an 8, how would that work? The 8 won't ever work. Well, the 8 could work, because we could have an 8 with a 4 and a 7. But then we can't connect the 4 and the 7. Right? Because the 4 could go down to a 2, not helpful. Or it could go to a 5 or a... Oh, no, wait. No, it can't. Yeah, it could go to a 5. But then the 5 can't connect to the 7. So the 8s don't work. So these are 8s. We're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits that we have to work out. We've got 4 of them already. What about... We said 3 could work. I think 7's going to work as well, because I think it might have the same kind of values that's... No, 7 won't work because we can't put an 8 on it. So 7 won't work with a black Kropki, so it would have to have the 6 and the 8. So this... Okay, we know what these are. 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9. Now, that leaves the 3, 4, 5, 6. And we had shown that that could work, because the 3 would be flanked by the 4 and the 6, and it would have a 5 in the corner, but we don't know how these go together. All right, well, that was a lot of time to figure out this. So what does that say? I don't know that it does much there, because we can't necessarily rule out any of these options, because this could just be a 1-2 pair. It could be a 7-8 or an 8-9. All of that is possible. I mean, technically, this will always be a white Kropki, although it could technically be labeled as a black Kropki if it's a 1-2 pair, but we can't really say much to get out of here. Could be a 1-2, 2-3, 2-4, 7-6, 7-8. I mean, there's tons of things that could happen. Could we ever make... Let's think about these guys. Could we make... Oh, well, the problem is we don't have to make them all black Kropki. So it could be like a 1-2-3. Something like that. And there's probably tons of ways these could work together. Now, this actually... It's the same thing here as it was down here, wasn't it? All of these will be. Or, well, these ones, because they're in that kind of diamond pattern. Right? Because we can go through the exact same processes. It's going to turn out the same. These are 3, 4, 5, and 6. These then will be 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. It's a lot of 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. These are all 3, 4, 5, 6. This, he wasn't kidding when he said this is pretty bad. 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, no, that breaks then. Oh, wait, no, this one doesn't work the same way. Sorry. Let me remove that. because the way it's set up is not the same, but this is the same. Let's think about this guy then. See, in this guy, we could put a 1, because we could put a 1 here with a 2. Okay, so I didn't see that, but when it's done this way, it does not have the same rules as that, but this one is done in the exact same way. So these do have the same determinations. And again, we don't know what this is. All right, let's see if we can work through this guy. We could very well put a 1 on here, right? Because we could put a 2 and then a 3, 4. Well, we can't do that actually. Because what do you put here? If this is if any of these are 1s, you have to put a 2 here in the middle. And you obviously can't put a 1 in the middle. And if you put a 2 in the middle, you have to put 3 and 4, because you've already used the 1. So you have to use a one that follows the consecutive rule set, which is 3, and one that follows the 2-to-1 ratio, which is the 4. But then you have nothing to put here. There are no 1s on this guy either. Let's start looking at those. What about 2s? And we'll have to think. Maybe it's easier to think about what this guy can be, because he's actually, I think, very restricted. It can't be a 1. I don't think it can be a 2, because you'd have to have, yeah, well, because you can't put a 1 on any of these, this can't be a 2, because you need to have a 1, a 3, and a 4, but that doesn't work. These are not 2, so there's no, well, I can't say the 2s have to go here, because one of these probably could be a 2. This can't be a 2. Could it be a 3? We could have, no, we can't put a 3, because it would have to have a 4 and a 5 to satisfy the white Kropki either way, and then a 6. There's not another way to go about it. 4 is probably one of the few things that will work. And I think it's going to be a 4. So if we do a 4, we can do a 3 and a 5 and a 2 and an 8. 5 won't ever work, because we can only use 2 digits, 4 and 6. 7 won't work, same thing, 6 and 8. 9 won't work, because you'd have to put 8s in multiple places. In here, that is, and I'm talking about the center still. And the only other option left is 8, but we're not going to have the extra 2-to-1 ratio that the 4 has. This is a 4. 4, not 5. These are not 4s. These are not 4s. Now, if these are 4s, these have to be 2, 3, 5, and 8. And then these will now have to be 1, 6, 7, and 9. Oof. Now, displacing the 4, does that do anything to these guys? Because we knew that the 4 had to work with a 6 to be able to put a 5 between it. Well, I guess it doesn't, does it? Because this could be the 4 with the 5, 6. This could be the 4 with the 5, 6, etc., etc. Now, what about you guys? Think about it from this side. Let's go off to the side, because we have all this stuff. It's blocking my ability to see. So let's go with and use these as the example. The possibilities. If there is a 3 on here somewhere, it must have a 4 and a 6 and a 5. And this is the patterning that must occur. So if one of these is a 4, one of these must be a 6. Because if we turn this 90 degree each way, we're always going to have the 4 and the 6 be diagonally opposite of each other. So 4, 6. The 3 and the 5 will just go in between them. So I don't think we can really say much more about them then. That doesn't really do much for us, does it? What it's going to say is that one of these is the 4, one of these is the 6, but again, that's not looking into anything. Okay. So that didn't help all that much. What else? We don't have... I mean, this thing is just a cluster. Maybe we can find where the 9 and the 1 go in this guy. Because they're going to be in places where we only have one other value to work with. These guys here. Every other cell must have at least 2 digits that go alongside of it. These are the only ones who don't. So this is the 1 and the 9. These are the 2 and the 8. Okay. And how does that propagate? Because now the 2 could go with a 3 or a 4. And the 8 could go with a 4 or a 7. Goodness, this is a real pain. So if we think from the 3's perspective, wait, one of these two has to be a 4 though, right? Let's keep that in perspective. Because no matter whether we have, no, it doesn't have to be. It could be a 2 with a 3 and an 8 with a 7. Okay, let's not make that mistake. If there's a 3 in one of these, it will be coming off of a 2, so it would have to go to a 4 or a 6. If it's a 4, it could be coming off of the 2 or the 8. So it could go to 2, well, it can't go to 2 or 8 because we have both of them already in here. So the 4 has to go with a 3 or a 5. The 7 has to go with a 6. And that's all the options. Now the question's going to be in this corner now, where these things all join up. What can occur? The 3 can't have a 2, because we already used it. It could have a 4. Yeah. This can't be a 3. We have 1, 2, 8, and 9 used. This can't be a 3 because we can't use... We can't make these... Oh no, we can. Shoot. This could be a 3. 4, 5, 6. Could this be anything? Son of a biscuit. If it's a 4, it could have a 3 and a 5 around it. If it's a 3, it could have a 4 and a 6. If it's a 5, it could have a 4 and a 6. If it's a 6, it could be a 3 and a 5. If it's a 7, well, it can't have a 7. So we get rid of that at least. So one of these two is a 7. Wow. Okay. At some point, we're going to get something that can start to tell us what some of these things are. But let's continue to think about this one. One of these two is going to be a 7, which means one of these two is going to be a 6, which means this is not a 6. If one of these two is a 6, this has to be... Does this have to be the 5? I guess it could be a 3 or a 5. But the 6 can never go alongside a 4. Yeah, if one of these two has to be a 6, because one of these two has to be a 7, and the 7 can't pair back with an 8 because it already has, one of these is 6. Which means this digit here in the middle can't be a 4 because 4 can't pair with a 6 in any way, but the 3 or the 5 could. Okay, but that doesn't necessarily rule out this being a 5 or this being a 5. because it could be 4. Wait, yeah, it does, doesn't it? I think this is a 5. Could this ever be a 5? It would have to pair with a 4 and a 6. It can't do that because one of these two has to be. Same goes here. These are not 5s. This is a 5. Then these can't be 3s, which means these can't be 4s. Okay, we've got something. So we know there's something that goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or something like that. But we've got a 5. These are not 5s, so one of these is. What else does that do? One of these will be a 4. One of these will be a 4. One of these is a 5. Can't say much about those other ones, but 3, 4, 6. Triple is somewhat interesting. I don't know how interesting, but it's interesting. That just puts a ton of options here, though, from 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm not too fond of that. Now, if one of... Maybe we can come back now and look at this, because we said the 3 and the 5 have to be catty corner. The 4 and the 6 have to be catty. These can't be 3s. So one of these is... And we would have known that anyway because of the 3, 4, 6, but... Okay. 3's looking this way, 4 looking this way, 5 looking this way, 6 looking this way. We don't have that same because we can't push this into there at the moment. Holy heck. Does that somehow inform this grouping? That's a tough question to ask. Because it could just be a 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. It could be a 1 to a 2 to a 4. I mean, it could be a 2 to a 4 to an 8. I mean, there's so many things that could go on here, it seems like. What are we doing? Can we reduce these now because of what these are? This could be a 9 because this could just be an 8 and a 4. Actually, that won't work because of this. Let's say this was a 9. This would have to be 8. This would have to be... Well, it could be 7 or 4. Let's start with the 9, 8, 4. We know that these arms here are going to be going in 2 different directions. 6. Well, maybe they're not. Because this could be 5, 6, 3, 2, 1. Or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Does that... Wait, let's look... Hold on. Let's stop this train and come back to here. 5, 6, either 3 or 7, 2 or 8, 1 or 9. 5 to the 4. If it goes to a 4, it has to go to a 3. But we can't make that determination. Because it could be 4 or 6. 5, 4. Well, can we? Because if this was a 6... This would be a 3. I mean, if we aren't doing just a straight up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we could go to, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We can go to 5 to the 6 and then down to the 3. But what does that do over here? Because if this is 5, 6, 3, this has to be 5, 4, 7? That doesn't work. So it looks like these actually do work as just a straight up white Kropkis all along the board. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I think that is crucial because if this is a 9, let's say, we're looking at an 8 and either the 4 or the 7. Now, if we did 9, 8, 7, this would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 6, 7, 8, 9. That seems like it could work. It does, but we couldn't go down to the 4s, what I saw originally. Because if we did, it'd be 9, 8, 4. That would force this to be 6, but then you'd have to go up to the 7 and 8, but we'd already used the 8. Again, we couldn't do 5, 6 to the 3, because what it would do here. Yeah. That's not really helpful, though, at the end of the day. Probably the same thing occurs with the 1, because you'll have to go to a 2, which is forcing this to be 9, 8, 7, 6. We could not go to a 4 here, because it would force both of these to be 6s, so it would have to be a 3, and that works perfectly fine. So there's ways that these can work and can't work. Okay. I don't know why I picked this puzzle. I'm regretting my choices right now. This is really, really tough to think through. So I'm scared of this middle section. It seems like there's a ton of different things we could do. Like this could be a 1, 2, 3 or something like that. This could, and then we could just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something like that. And that seems like we could make that work. Now, what if we switched on and off between black and white Kropki? We could do 1, 2, 4. We could do 3, 6, 5. And then we could do 7, 8, 9. Well, 3, 6, 5 specifically for this section wouldn't work, but this could be the 1, 2, 4, and this could be the 3, 6, 5. And that would work. So there are different ways that we could make these all work together. Now, we could still say the same thing, though, that we can't put 1s or 9s in any of these. But is that really helpful? Because all it does is push them out here. And doesn't necessarily tell us what's what. This guy can't have a 4 or a 6 on it. Is that helpful in any way? I don't think so. This could, yeah, these could still be 1, 2. It would just force these 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, actually, it wouldn't work. This can't be a 1, 2, because this would be 9, 8, 7. And what would this be? Nothing. Yeah, because this wouldn't be able to use 1, 2, 7, 8, or 9. This is not a 1, 2. So it is a 7, 8, 9, which means it has an 8 on it. Perfect. Whew. That forces now this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now let's try to see if we can make that help us. This is 3. The 3 had to be catty corner with the 5. Or we could just go through it, but it'll work out that way. So 4, 5, 6. This is not 7. This is not 1 or 2. This is not 9. Oh boy. Well, this is just a 1-2 pair. Now that we look a little closer on it. And these are the 7, 8s, 9s. 1. This could still be a 1, 2, 3. Let's pull out some options though this way quickly. No 3, so one of these is a 3. No 5. That seems to be it, but then these can't be 3s. So this is a 5, 6 pair, which means this is a 3, 4 pair. Therefore, there can't be a 5 here. So one of these two is. That pushes a 5 onto here. What else does it do for us? 4, 3, 2, 5, and 6. That's not going to tell us what these are, because again, the 5 and the 6 are next to each other, the 4 and the 3 are next to each other. That works fine. Okay. We're going to have to look at some of these other ones now that we have a foothold on this thing. This is either going to be 2, 3, can't be 4. This will then have to be... Let's think about the 1, 2, 3 is possible. 1, 2, 4 is not. 2 can't go down to a 1, so it'd go up to a 3. Can't be a 4, and it can't be a 6. Okay, so this just is 3. 3, 2, 1, 2. These are not 1s. This is not a 2. This is a given digit now of 9, which means this is not 9. What are these? They are 1, 7, and 8. These are 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, do we want to look here first? I don't know that we do. Can we ever put a 1 on this thing? The answer is no. So it goes in one of these. Can we ever put a 2 on this thing? The answer is going to be no, because we can't put a 2 with a 3 or a 4. And it can't go down to a 1. So one of these is a 2. Obviously, it can't do 3, 4, or 5. So we're looking at 6, 7, 8, and 9. If that's the case, this is just a straight white Kropki grouping, because none of these can be 2 to 1s. This can't be the 6 or the 9. It doesn't tell us what these guys are, though, because they can still be from 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s. But we do know we have a 1 and a 2 up here. And whatever is left over from here will go there. And we could also just look at Sudoku to say that. Now, is there anything looking across? Doesn't appear to be. 5s go in one of those. It's not really helpful. 6s go in one of those. That's not really helpful. I guess we know this does have 7 and 8 on it. We just don't know which, the 6 or the 9 that goes with it. So one of these is 7. One of these is 8. Okay. Still not very helpful. But anywho, let's keep looking. One of these is now going to have to start helping us out. Question is which one? It's probably one of these guys here. This one seems like it could still be multiple things. Just thinking on that real quickly. Yeah, there's stuff that could happen here. It could be a 3, 4, a 3. Well, it could be like a 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 8. 8, 9, things like that. So there are options there. Okay. 2. this grouping, I want to look at this one. I don't know if that's really useful. Is it? I guess we're going to have to look at the options. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These obviously can't be a 9. This is horrific. I don't think I want to go down this road. One of these is going to be a 4 or a 5. That's something to think about. I don't know how useful it is, though, because we could always put a 4 to go with an 8 and a 9. So there's things there that could be done. This guy we can't determine if it's white or black either, because it could be a 1, 2. It wouldn't be able to be any of the other black Kropki groupings, because we can't do 2, 4, 4, 8, or 3, 6. But that doesn't remove the possibility of it being white and being, well, 1, 2, of course, works. 7, 8, or 8, 9 will also work. 7, 8 does work. 8, 9 does work. Yeah, okay. There's still options there. 6, 7, 8. No, 5s and did I make? I think I made all those reductions that I could. 3s and we know one of those is a 4. Oh, this is a 4-3 pair. That's useful. So we got 3s and 4s, 3s and 4s. So let's get rid of that and go to 3, 4. Now, it doesn't do a whole lot to reduce this, but it does, I guess, a little something. Now this can't be a 3, can it? Because if it's a 3, this either has to be 2 or 4, and it can't be either. Because if this is a 3, this is a 4, and there's a 2 down here. Or it has to be a 3, 6. Well, it can't be that. So this is 4, 3. One of these is 3. One of these is 4. Now, this is at least reduced some. It could be 5 or 8. Oh, it can't be 5. Okay. The 4 can't use its white Kropkiness because it would have to be 3 or 5. Neither one works, so it has to use its 2-to-1 ratio ness, and it can't go to a 2, so it goes up to 8. Now, this 8 gives us a 3. This is a 2. These are not 2s. Good. This is a 5-8 pair, so this is not our 8. This one is. Okay, getting excited. We're starting to get somewhere very, very slowly. This is not 2. This is not 8. 3s and 4s don't really help us too much, I don't think. We already knew there was an 8 down here. Can we continue on any of these guys? 3s, 4s. What can this be? Can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. It could be 5 or 9. That's it. This is going to be 1, 3, and either 5 or 9. What about you guys? Can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. It could be 5, 6. My watch is going off because it thinks I'm walking because I'm being animated with my hands. So I'm making walking movements. Let's stop being stupid for a second, or silly. Can't be 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4. Could be 5 or 6 or 7. This can't be 5 or 6. It is 7. Okay. That says this can't be 7. This is 1 or 9 for the row. That doesn't quite get us going there, but it No, we already knew there's a 7 here. That's not helpful. What else? What else? I don't know that we can do too much more with this guy. It is 1, 2, 6, or 9. Those are kind of the options. Okay, let's keep plugging away. Is there anything in any of these guys now? That has been even more restricted. What about you? So I wonder if we can do something similar like we did here. This could still be a 1, 2, I think. It does appear so. Well, this can't be a 2 in general, and this can't be a 2 in general. So one of these two is, that's what we needed to do. This is not a 2, which means this is a 2. Okay. So one of these is a 5, which means this isn't 8. 5. This is not 8. One of these is 8. 1, 5, 6, 9, 8, 5 doesn't get us to there yet. Maybe there's enough now here where we can start to put in options because we've got a limited selection. 1, 2, 7, 9. This can't be 9. This can't be a 7, 9 pair, so it is a 1, 2, which means this is 7. There we go. Now, this can't be 4 or 5, so this is a 4 or 5 pair. And what can this be? It can't be 8, so it has to be 6. This is not 6 or 7. 9, 8, 7, or 8, 7, 6. This is not 9 or 8. Get rid of some of that little bit of stuff. Let's put 6s here. These are not 7s or 9s. We get a 1, 6 pair. Oh, the 7 here just says 9 and 7. Then we can finish this. This is 3, 8, and 9. Good. And anything else? Gotta keep keeping on. I don't know that we can do anything with this guy further. Oh. The 3. Just saw that one. This has to be a 5 and the 6. Well, that says this is not 6. This is not 4 or 5. It is 6. Okay. Again, keep trying to check around. We're going to have to be able to start getting into some of these guys now, because we're at least getting ourselves down to reasonable things to look at. Let's take the dive. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. These can't have 1s and 2s on them, because we can never get to anything else. This is just a 7, 8, 9. This is 1. This is 2. This is 1. This is not 1 or 2. This is not 1. This is. Okay. This just has. No, it doesn't. Sorry, I thought I saw something there. It's not correct. This is the only place an 8 can go, so we're going to put that in. Now we can say what these are. Well, we can probably say what they are. Yeah, this is 7. This is 8. This is not, okay, 9. It's amazing how this puzzle is causing me not to see the most simple things right in front of my face. We're going to be able to work out these guys, right? Hopefully. We need 1, 2, 4 or 5. Can't. Well, we're going to have to use the 2 and the 4, I think, right? Because it could be 1, 2, 4. Or it could be 2, 4, 5. So this is not a 4, it is a 5, which means this is a 1, 2, 4. So it's going to be the 2 in the middle to work with the 1 and the 4. This is going to be the 8 in the middle to work with the 7 and the 9. This is going to be a 7, 6, 9, 8, 5, 6. Now it's coming together. This is not 8. This is not 8, so this is 7, says this is 9, 7. This is 3 and 9. This is not 3. This is not 2. Oh, this is 1 and 2 here. Good. What are these guys? Let's just put them in. They are 3, 5, and 6. So the 5 has to, well, the 6 has to mediate between the 3 and the 5. So this is the 6. And then this is 5, 3. Where's the, this is not a 3, so this is, yes, that's correct. This has to be 4 or 5, it could be either. These are from 1, 2, and 4. This is not 2 or 4, good, it's 1. This is 4, this is 2, this is 1. This is a given 9. These are a 4 or 5 pair. We can get rid of that. The 6 says this has to be a 5 and a 4, and that's going to pop these open. And then we can do these guys. 7, 9, 6, 1. Good God. 47 minutes on a Kropki puzzle. Solution is correct. So it's got 146 solves in 7 days. That's not a lot of solves. This one really was kind of a pain in the ass, but in a good way. It really did make you have to think about things instead of just going blah, 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 etc. We have to actually go through what we can do. I'm sure there's probably other ways you can think about some of these interactions. I'd love to hear about those in the description or in the comments below if you do have another way that you looked at it. But the way I did it, baby, brute force. See what the options are, see what don't work. It seems to help most of the time. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that one. I hope you had a bad experience. And I hope to see you in the next one. If you did enjoy this, like, comment, subscribe. Really appreciate it from all y'all. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.